since day one, people have been asking me for a prison. As soon as I mentioned that we're doing a Russian style city, everyone's like, prison, prison, prison. You know, and I just thought, well, I don't know why I put it off. Today we are finally getting what you guys wanted from the start. We're finally making this prison. Well, could you call it a gulag? Is that what it's called? I don't know, but yes, we are doing it up here in the mountains, a little bit further away from all of the other settlements. I wanted it to be up in the mountains just because that's going to be like the vibe that we want to go for, somewhere that's kind of remote, lots of big trees, kind of, I don't know. I just thought that would fit. I just thought it would fit in well with it. Okay, so we're going to be doing it up here. Yes, I removed a lot of the trees, but in a second, it will make sense why I removed all of the trees. And you know me, I don't like removing trees, and you guys are probably going to be like, oh my god, Sam, is that you? Is that actually you? Yes, it's me. But we're going to be using this big prison style. It's very, very old fashioned, but it actually fits in with the vibe that I'm going for. So the vibe that I am going for is very, very old fashioned Russian style, very hard style prison, hard jail. Very cold, lots of brick, dirty, not really much recreational stuff, but that big building that I put in there, that is actually the in-game jail. So we're going to have two different jails in here, which is the big one, and then the other one that's like the pointy little things. And then I'm adding in these little buildings here because where the two buildings overlap, I don't really like how it looks. So I'm just adding in these extra little buildings here just to hide the weird overlapping so it doesn't look funny and so it doesn't annoy me. This isn't just going to be a prison, so I'm not going to say what it is because maybe it'll offend some people, but there's also going to be, let's just say, an extracurricular activity for people to do. It involves logging, cutting down trees, and, you know, a bit of a sawmill and things like that, which is going to be very conveniently placed right next to the prison. And, you know, it's just, I'm not going to say it because someone's going to have an issue with it, but those two things that I'm going to build, they are going to be kind of together. So if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. So back to the building, we have the older style building, then we have the new big prison, and that little building that I just added there, that is going to be the entrance for the visitors. So we have the dirt road there, which will be where all of the prisoners will come in directly to the prison, but then we'll have some big fences. And then on the other side of that little building, there's going to be the car parks and basically where the visitors come in and go through like the processing and whatever, stuff like that. So I wanted there to be just a little bit of an extra addition to this whole big complex that comes out a little bit from the complex, and it's just where all the visitors come in. And it just looks better because if we didn't add in this extra building here, it would just look like a big square. And I don't know, that's just kind of boring, right? If it's just one big square. So I wanted to break it up a little bit. After I pressed play, literally no one was coming to this car park. I was like, why am I even doing this? We could have planted trees here. Like, no one's coming to the car park. No one wants to come visit. I guess everyone hates everyone who's in this prison. I mean, fair enough. If you go into this prison, yeah, I mean, it's not nice. Not a very nice prison, that's for sure. But yeah, so these are the fences that I am going to be using. This fence here, it actually just came out on the workshop. I forget what it's called, but if you type in prison or jail, whatever you want to call it, there's this new pack that's kind of like a interactive jail or something like that, and it's part of that pack as well. I'm also going to be adding in some gates and things like that throughout the area. The gates don't actually open and close, they just sort of stay open, but that's as close as we're going to get to an actual real gate, and I probably should have put more of those throughout the area, but I didn't have really good ones, so let's just leave it like that. Alright, so this little sawmill area, it is an actual functioning sawmill area. So it actually has to have its own designated district, its zone, whatever you want to call it. And it has to have road connections, basically everything. It's not just prop buildings, these are actual real buildings. So what I'm going to do here, we have this building which is very, very close to the actual prison. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place another smaller building right in there somewhere. And what I'm going to do is drag that building over to make it look like the actual prison is connected to the wall. And that's going to be where the prisoners will go from the prison over to the sawmill to do their work and things like that, because I didn't want to interrupt that road road that goes all the way around, so they kind of just have to walk across the road. I mean, there would be some fences or whatever, realistically, but I mean, are we realistic? No, not really. But yeah, so that's the idea with that. And this area will have some fences, but realistically, it's not going to be fully fenced because the prisoners they go out and chop the trees and stuff like that, and then they need space to bring back the trees. But anyway, let's go to the end because we're going to get a better look at everything and just see how it all works. So let's go check it out. Dun 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 dun! Finally, Vladivostok is now equipped with a very, very old-fashioned prison, but it gets the job done. Once you go in there, you never want to go back, honestly. So here it is, it's up in the mountains. I wanted to do this shot here because you can't actually see it, which is exactly what I wanted. It's hidden in the mountains, hidden by all the trees, and yeah, even from the city right here, you cannot see it from the larger buildings. So let's go into first person mode. I actually put some billboards there, which is actually advertisement for a housing estate, which is kind of ironic because, I mean, it is kind of a housing estate, but just it is different form. So let's go in here. I wanted to make it a dirt road just to, I don't know, just to make it look a little bit more, what's the word? Grotty, gritty, just dirty, basically. Come in here, we got the old-fashioned power lines, and there we go, our first little glimpse of our prison. Now, I just want to make this clear. So even though I'm building it now, the idea is that this prison has been there for like, I don't know, 2 years, 2 years? 200 years, no, not 200 years, maybe 100 years, 150, something like that. So it's quite old fashioned and not really super modern and, you know, techie and things like that. So this part right here, this is the visitor parking area. So this is the little building that comes out, and we've got all of the parking lots here. No one is using them, like I said, so I don't know. Is it closed? Maybe we don't have any prisoners. Yeah, actually, when I checked it before, we didn't have any prisoners. So, and crime is enabled in my city. I don't have it disabled, in case you're wondering. This part over here, that's going to be like a loading area or a parking area for the staff and where they bring in the prisoners as well. So let's move on from there, but that is the visitor entrance point right there. Let's go back up here and go into the actual prison area. So there's a sliding gate right there. We come around. I really like the power lines. It gives it a nice little, it just looks good. I like it. So we have our big dirty wall there, and I mean that's a pretty hard wall. I don't know why those bushes are half up the wall there. I don't know. So here is our little parking area. It's our drop-off area for the prisoners. I don't know. I just wanted some kind of designated space just for the employees or whatever. I realized there's no door there. But realistically, that's supposed to be where the visitors or whoever go in to the prison. They have to go through the processing and then go across this little road, and then they're in the actual prison. Yes. So we also have this road which goes all the way around. Now, in terms of the plants and vegetation, I did not want to add in too many plants at all because I think having plants, it's a place for them to hide or something, or they can get out a branch and whack other people. So I wanted to really keep the vegetation very, very minimal. I didn't want too much at all, so it's very, very bare throughout the whole prison. Even in terms of like seating and like, yeah, there's only seating in the yards, so there's really not much for them at all. Yes, so this is our sawmill, but we'll come back to that in a minute. This is our crossover, and the door there was hovering, which is I should check some things first before I go into first person mode because it doesn't look good for me. But the look that we have so far, to me, it looks realistic. What do you guys think? I mean, there's probably something that I'm forgetting to do, but this is the entrance. This is the actual in-game prison right there, and then it kind of overlaps, and then we're in the old prison area in the old courtyard. So you'll notice it's very, very basic, very old brick, grungy. That's the word that I was thinking of. It's grungy. Yes, it is grungy. We have like this central building and then lots of different little wings and seating areas, but it's very, very basic, very, very plain. But yeah, this is what I imagined, you guys. This is how I imagined. But yeah, we have this fencing. So there's actually lots of different levels of fencing. So we have that fence, then we have the big stone fence, and then we have the other fence on the other side of the stone wall as well. But I wanted to make lots of different little courtyards throughout the areas because we have these weird little triangle shapes between the buildings. So I thought, yeah, let's make it into different little courtyards because I don't think all prisons just have one big like open recreational space. Sometimes it might be divided depending on what their conviction is, you know, max security, low, whatever, medium, different levels. So I wanted to make sure there's different little areas. And did you guys see that there's like the cells there that they have no roof or anything like that? But if we look at that image right there, like, doesn't that look good? We got the smoke in the background. We've got the dirty walls. It just looks good. It really suits it. So let's jump out of first person mode and go over. So there we go. So we'll go over here. So this is the entry point that goes from the prison over into the working area. So since it is kind of not fenced fully, I feel like this would only be for maybe some prisoners. I don't know, or they'd have a lot of guards with guns or something like that. I don't know. How did they do it in the old days? I can't remember. But yeah, this is the entry point. I really love that we have the chimneys. I don't actually know what all of these buildings do. I didn't read it. I just plonked them down because I was like, yep, they look good. They fit in. The only building that doesn't really fit in is the one on the right there. I had to place that building there on the right because that building basically makes it the forestry area, and without that building, nothing works because these are all forestry buildings. So you actually had to place that main house, what do you call it, the main building down to actually enable you to place other buildings in this district. So there we go. Very basic. It's very old-fashioned, grungy, dirty. Just, it fits very well. Something else I should mention is a lot of the trees around this whole big prison. There's some big trees on one side, but on the other side the trees are quite small because I want it to look like all of the inmates have gone out and chopped down all of the bigger trees, and then they put them in here and stacked them all there, or they put them down the log chute which takes the logs down the river. So you'll notice a lot of the trees around them are quite small, and I think it wouldn't look right if we had this forestry area but no trees were cut down, you know what I mean? So yeah, you can see in the background there's lots of smaller trees. And one thing that you guys might not like is how I have this log chute. So some very basic forms of moving the logs, you just put them in the river and let them go down river, and then eventually someone picks them up downstream somewhere. So that's kind of like, that's what I'm doing here. That's the inspiration because it is a very old-fashioned technique. So since this is a very old prison, I wanted to go with something that's very old-fashioned. I also had to ban trucks going through the area. So yeah, even though it is a real forestry, I didn't really want a million trucks to come through, and I didn't really want an extra road that kind of bypasses the prison because I wanted it to all be part of the prison and wanted it to be one big, you know, just one big connected area that doesn't have extra little roads going everywhere where the prisoners can escape. So there we go. I think that's basically all I can show you guys, but yeah, you plop the logs down there, they go down the stream. I really like that asset though, it's really cool. I don't know if all of these buildings are realistic, I don't know, but I made sure I have lots of the guards towers around so they can be up there with their rifle and they're just ready to go if anyone wants to escape. But yeah, it looks good, it's hidden in the mountains, it's hidden amongst the trees. It fits in with the older style that I have throughout the whole city, and it just looks good. So, what do you guys think? Yeah, Semi-Vostok, it is pretty much done. I'm basically at the point where if there's any last things that you guys want me to build in this city, now is the time. So this was one of the huge, big requested things. Another one, someone said just put in more low residential just to like fill in the little areas, a little bit of urban sprawl. But yeah, if there's anything else, let me know now. Now is the time. Otherwise, I'm going to do the wrap up city tour and then that'll be the end of it. Anyway, you guys, that's all from me and I'll catch you all next time.